me. Yeah. Oh, my God. Oh, yeah. And some more. Oh, yeah. I gotta practice. I gotta practice my fucking burn. Cause I suck at talking, baby. Apple bottom jeans, those boots with the fur. We are back to the warehouse for Blitzball Battle 7. Baggage is back and here to stay. Let's talk Blitzball. Burp. Welcome to the Blitzball Boys, the podcast about Blitzball and boys, but lately about Blitzball. I'm your co-host, Brennan Ruppel, along with my fellow host, Peter Del Rey. Moment of silence as always. Long enough. Another blowout by Team Baggage, but this game, they stick the landing. Last game, we talked about it. They beat up on Whack. They gave Kelsey the at-bat, and they kind of fall apart after that. She's cursed. She's a curse. But don't start that. Don't start that. She's not a curse. But Team Baggage absolutely owns Del Caribe. No secret here. Do we think that Jimmy and Jake are the real deal this season? I don't know. Let me know in the comments if you think that Jimmy and Jake are actually going to do something this tournament. If this is just a 2-game fluke. Granted, so they played well-ish against Whack. I mean, they hit against both teams. You can't take that away from them. They did hit. Whack is like a kind of a one-handed team right now. They have Dalton and then Panic, who did hit a little bit. And then Del Caribe is famously one of the worst teams in Blitzball, who also won a game in this tournament. So who's to say? So I guess we'll find out how they do in that one-inning play-in game for the bye. I'm very curious to see who they have to play. Maybe that's a game we could play later. But yeah, I'm a believer. I'm a Baggage believer. I do think that they played well enough today to show to me that they're going to rake against whoever is up there. They are not getting out. I think the two of them have gotten out once apiece so far this tournament in 2 games. They had a lot of at-bats at this point. And they can pitch enough. Like Jimmy is capable when you need him. I think it was awesome that they found last game that Jake still has his funky, like, throw your whole body at the mound motion, and it's working right now because getting those 2 outs in last game gave him the start in this one, and he breezed through this lineup of 2. Oh, should have wrote that in the burn. Shit, that was so good. So yeah, I think they're the real deal. Come at me, bros. And I know it's just guys. This episode is just for the guys. So come at me if you disagree with me. But I think that does it for things of note. It's time for the burn. A rivalry as old as the sport between Del Caribe and 2 guys that are short. Lou's pitches look like poo to start the game as he gets knocked around the yard. Same old story alley with Jake these days. He absolutely rakes. A home run from our floorball floor champion maxes out the inning at 5. He starts the game on the mound and treats Del Caribe like blades of grass as he mows them down with ease. 3 strikeouts to end the inning. Lou Dab may have found his new groove, but Jake is the emperor in this warehouse. The Baggage Bash Bros both go deep to score their second 10-run game in a row. Del Caribe tries to rally, but Jake decides that would be too long of a story and shuts the book on this game. Team Baggage wins 10-0. The voice helps me talk slower, I've found. Got to do a little bit of the SNL Don Pardo. Helps slow things down. We start in the top of the first. Lou, who is old, is throwing slowly. A little bit worrisome. Fatigue shouldn't be setting in too much this early in the tournament. I know he threw X amount of pitches. I'm going to edit that in. X amount of pitches last game, but I don't know. He's a dog in that way. He can kind of power through some stuff. We've seen him throw through some shoulder pain. I don't think that's what it was. I think he was just trying to ease into it, maybe to save some bullets for the future. I think that got him in a little bit of trouble because throwing, like trying to throw slowly, sometimes I think you just don't get a lot of spin on the ball, and those balls weren't breaking back in, and he just wasn't finding a good release point with the effort he was giving those balls. And then he walks a couple, gets himself in trouble. He starts to lose his confidence a little bit. Then he's really aiming, and once you start to aim a blitzball, it's just not going to go. You have to aim it with aggression. When you're pitching aggressively, you start to feel yourself, and it just kind of happens naturally. But when you haven't found your spots yet, and you're trying to, like, let me try to throw it here, and you're throwing it lightly, that ball just floats on you, and you're not going to find your spot. So he's falling behind every count. He talks about this a little bit in between innings, that when he comes into the second inning, he wants to start locating. They made fun of him for that, because obviously you always want to locate, but I understand what he's talking about. He was not finding the spots he was looking for at all. And then when he does get a big juicy one over the plate, it's a really sad, slow slider at like 49 miles per hour, and Jake just fucking turns on it. Those high pitches, if you're gonna have them high, they gotta be pretty fast, so you can hopefully get it by the batter. And even usually if they're high, you want them to be too high, because that bat is just so light, you can kind of catch up to anything. So if it's a 49 mile per hour slider that kind of just breaks right into the barrel of the bat, that's a worst case scenario pitch for Lou there. It's sometimes you can get away with a breaker when you've been throwing only one pitch over and over again. Just the change of speed and the different look will trick you, but that's like one of the only pitches he has from that arm angle. He doesn't have a real tunnel from that spot. Most of his pitches were that 3/4 sinker that most people do in this warehouse, and it just didn't have enough bite on it, and he was throwing mostly just that, so it helped Baggage see that pitch so much, because it's really all he had. And they didn't like absolutely destroy him hitting wise this inning compared to the second inning, but they saw a lot of him and got a beat on him for sure. And especially they got a beat on his main pitch, which is huge. But yeah, great job by Jake. Really cool to see him hit this well. He starts on the mound in the bottom of the first, and he's kind of picks up where he left off in that last game. He's got all his pitches working. He's got his sidearm full body motion working. I don't know how he keeps that ball like from scraping on the ground. Like he releases it so low and it stays right there on that plane. It's a good spot to be, because all those pitches being low, it's a really tough ball to hit. Like if you played blitzball before, you know that strike zone goes well below your knees. So some balls, if they float and stay down there on that plane, that ball crosses like at your shins and it still hits that pipe. So if you can live down there, that's a pretty good spot. Like low and outside is one of the hardest pitches, and low and outside and high and inside are the two pitches you want to throw as a pitcher, because high and inside, if you curve that in there, it crosses the plate at your eyes, and it's called a strike. So opposite for the low and away pitch. So he's living in a good spot. He's got that pitch pretty much down. He tunnels off that. He's got a slider that, again, it doesn't have a lot of bite, but it's a perfect tunnel, and he has control of it. And he pitches it inside, because that pitch is slow enough. It's like around 60, where if you break that too far over the middle, I think that's a very hittable ball. But he's busting him inside with that sinker, and then he throws it, starts it at your body, and it comes in just enough, and that tunnel is just so good. That's what struck out Lou that first at bat, and that's a guy who has bat-to-ball skills and looked silly on that pitch. It was really cool to see. And then he has the occasional 70. He'll just pop 70 overhand sometimes. So he's looking really good. It looks really strong and confident up there. Just really cool. Other things, Lou is just swinging at everything inside. He obviously is doing better in this game than Joe's is, but the two of them, like, not super plate disciplined in this game, especially Joe's. Joe strikes out on a bunch of pitches that they end up being nowhere near the strike zone. I know they probably present as strikes at some point, but there's one that's at his eyes, at his face, that he swings at. I think there's another high one. There's one that hit that goes in the dirt. He's kind of just all over the place, and he said it in the post game that he's like, maybe I'm a little too calm in this game. I don't know. It worked from the first games. I wouldn't fully throw it out the window just yet, but maybe Jake was just that good in this game. I don't know. We go to the top of the second, and Lou knows he needs to change something up. He's got to figure something else out because what he's been doing so far has just not been working. He starts to do a little bit of the Nicky Cass quick pitching, and that starts to work. Sometimes if you just take the thinking out of it and you just like take the ball and whip it up there, it just helps you find a zone a little bit, and you can get into a rhythm finally. So he gets into a little bit of a rhythm. We get to a point in this inning, it's just funny knowing where it ends. It ends up being another 5-run inning. We get to a point where there's a man on second base, there's 2 outs, it's a 3-2 count. They hadn't scored a single run yet. And then Jake hits the home run, more runners get on base, and Jimmy hits the 3-run home run. So they were a strike away from getting out of this inning, still being 5-0, and having something to play for a little bit. Once it gets to 10-0, it's completely out of hand, and there's nothing you can really do at that point. Because you're pretty much working with 2 outs. When it's 10-0, you have to score, they get to cut the deficit in half before 2 outs? I forget. But even so, just a lot of work ahead of you. But yeah, Lou looked pretty good. It's good to know he can kind of figure something out and change it up if he has to. The fans were hoping Joes would come in. I think Lou's maybe his ego just wouldn't let Joes come in there because that's kind of just waving the white flag at that point if Joes comes in. At that point, maybe it was 7-0 when people wanted that. It would have been fun to see him. I think the same outcome would have happened, so it really doesn't matter. But yeah, just really cool to see Jimmy and Jake. They're both hitting equally well right now. Like maybe Jake has the edge a little bit because he's got more homers. But my God, like just to watch the two of them hit so well is really, really fun. I love it. Jimmy also never really a home run guy, and that home run was just fucking gorgeous. Just really awesome to see. My guys. And I love watching this game too because Jimmy, Joes, and Jake are like the 3 guys I love consuming their content most. So just them being on the field just makes me so happy. And then when Jimmy and Jake are performing well, it just warms my heart. They're the guys that started it all. They're the guys that did the back alley at bats. That's what got me into this game. Those 2 dudes got me into baseball more than I ever thought I would. So it's just, I root for those dudes. Bottom of the second, it's kind of over at this point already, but they get a couple runners on. And, it just comes down to Joes here. I think he makes both of the outs in this inning. Lou's showing some fight. He gets a couple singles. But Joes just is getting eaten alive by Jake here. He just looks completely lost against him. It's just not going to happen. So, that's it. 10-0. I think that, I said it before at the top of the show, I think Baggage is the real deal. I think the opposite happened for Del Caribe in this game. They proved to me that they're kind of the same team they always usually are. For Baggage to come in and absolutely stomp them like this, it just must feel so degrading. Granted, like they're not in the losers bracket. That's good, or we don't do that anymore. I forget. Either way, they're 1-1. It's something they can maybe figure it out. I need Joes to hit a little bit and help Lou out because I don't know. He didn't have anything on the mound obviously today. It didn't really matter, but it just makes you look like if you're bad on both sides of the ball and you're just getting blown out completely. Obviously a bad recipe, but the opposite was happening for Baggage. Baggage looks awesome. Call it a fluke all you want, but I think Wack and Del Caribe are still both Blitzball teams, and anything can happen in the Blitzball game. And all that happened to Baggage so far in this tournament is that they hit the fucking shit out of the ball. So let's see. They're seeing the ball really well. They're putting up great at bats. There's some takes in this game that they had that were like, oh my God. Like they're tracking the ball all the way to the box. It's really impressive, some of the takes that they've had in this game. Anything else got to wrap up before I go to play of the game? I think so. Oh, real quick on Ryan Cohen. He's a storyline sort of in the booth at this point. I don't blame him for most of the plays that he made. Like, there's some that he could have made, knowing him. Like, he's a talented guy, and he could have made some of those plays. But most of the balls that were hit to him were hit really hard on that very skippy surface. It's a slick cement floor with a slippery plastic ball. And a lot of them have been hit to the corner that, like, bounce off the wall. He's trying to, like, knock it down. He's got a really tough job over there, and I don't think there's been, like, an extremely easy play that he totally botched. Maybe one. But I think after you miss the one easy one, any hard play that you don't snag is just gonna like it starts to domino effect on you, and people start talking a little bit. But I think it's just like a Booth storyline. I'm not too worried about it. I don't think he's in his head at this point at all, really. But yeah, I think that's mostly it. A couple other things I liked. I really liked Chris Rose's comment of your OPS plus matters at this company. Maybe not actually because Jolly still works here. That was good. Good dig. That made me laugh. It's time for Player of the Game. Jake, I mean, him and Jimmy both had pretty much the same game, but he had one more home run than him, and he pitched the entire game. Pitched crazy well. Strikeouts galore. No runs given up. He might be as good as he ever has been on the mound right now. I haven't seen him this dominant. I haven't seen him this dialed. He's like, there's at one point when he threw that slider that struck out, what am I, fucking 5-year-old? That struck out Lou. He's like, I was aiming for that spot. And I know that feeling. It's a really cool feeling when you are looking for a spot, you throw the pitch that moves so much and it goes exactly where you want it to. It feels like you're in control of this ball that moves like fucking crazy. So I am impressed with him so far. He's got the velo that he didn't used to have. He's got the control. He's not throwing pitches in the dirt. It just looks great. And for both things to be working as well as they're working right now, for his bat to just be doing what it's doing. One of his home runs was insane. It was like it was a full count, and it was a pitch low and inside, and he golfed it beautifully up into the booth. It was one of the better home runs I've seen from him. Sometimes we see home runs from him that are like very weird, like choppy. He hasn't been doing his funny, like chopped down motion swings this tournament. He's in a good place. He's in a very good place. Play the game. My play of the game is Jimmy 3-run homer. Got to mention it too. This is my way of mentioning both of their awesome games. His 3-run homer pretty much ended the game. It just did. It was 7-0, 2 men on base, 3-run home run. I think it's also more satisfying to me when a home run maxes out like with the correct number, if that makes sense. Like if it was 9-0 and he hits a 3-run home run, like, okay, cool. It might as well have just been a solo shot. When you need 3 and you hit 3, very satisfying. Very, very satisfying. I like that. It was also very pretty. Like he mentioned that himself after he came off of that. He's like, I don't really hit home runs like that. Like, yeah, it was nice to see. The mere fact that Jake's been doing what he's doing, and then Jimmy has got that in his bag right now. They just aren't getting out. They're a formidable duo right now. It's just insane. Like I said, I'm pretty sure, someone could check me on this, but I'm pretty sure each one of them has only gotten out once in this tournament. Before Jake got out in this game, Kelsey was the only one that had gotten out for her package. They both come into this game with no outs on them. So they're doing it. Let's see. I want to see if Jimmy pitches next game. I want to see his stuff. I really enjoy watching Jimmy pitch when he's good because he's also added some velo. I love watching his forkball work and his big looping curveball and his weird little like funny knuckle changeup. He's fun to watch pitch. I root for him too on the mound. And now for the next game preview. We got Ice versus McFlurry Power. I'm surprised that anyone in the booth thinks that McFlurry Power has a chance in this game. I think it's going to be an easy We Got Ice win. I mean, so no matter who they're playing against, say they're playing against Whack or I don't know, another team. Jack is just a beast right now. He's just destroying blitzballs and he's dicing up whoever is in the box right now. I think it's a good thing that we saw him struggle a little bit in the first inning of the first game he pitched because that just shows how good he is at adjusting to his surroundings and what he needs to be doing at the moment. He's just really continuing from last season and he's not stopping. There's no slowing Jack Doyle right now, so it doesn't matter who they play. But if you think it does, Dan Canobio and K-Mac are both, in my eyes, like minus like the bottom 3 hitters. So we talked about this before. The bottom 3 hitters being Jolly, Panic, and Joe's. I think that K-Mac and Dan Kenobi are kind of right there with them. That might be the bottom five. If you add those two guys, that might round up the bottom five. Dan Kenobi's never been a slugger, really. He hit that home run last game. If anything, he's kind of boomer bust. He'll hit a home run or like completely look like dog shit at the plate. And K-Mac just struggles more than you wish he would because he looks so capable. He looks like such a good hitting, like a power hitting lefty, and he strikes out so much. He's another big power hitting lefty that could rake some balls to the right field porch, but doesn't as much as you'd think he should. I want to say that both their averages are pretty low. They're probably both in the 300s, if I had to guess. So they're not good hitters against most pitchers, let alone the guy who's got more pitches than anyone in the world to choose from. And he's really, really, you heard him last game, tinkering on the fly, on the mound. He's coming off of throwing a lot of wiffle balls recently, and you should be worried that he pitched as well as he did last game when he's finding his rhythm again with a blitzball over a wiffle ball. So, yeah, be scared. I think he's going to pitch even better than he did last game. In this game, he's finding all his spins with the ball that he's not as used to at the moment. So, look out for that. And on the other side of the coin, sure, Matt Fleury has a great pitching staff, but I still think that We Got Ice neutralizes that. I don't think it matters who you throw against We Got Ice. They're going to hit anybody at least a little bit. And like I said, Jack Doyle has not stopped hitting, and Zoe hasn't really started yet this tournament, so be careful. Be careful. And that's about everything on the games. It's time for plugs. So if you haven't already, please subscribe on YouTube and like the videos. We appreciate you trying to get up to that 200 mark. We got a couple more yesterday. Thank you for listening, as always. Comment as much as you can. I love getting back to you guys. It's fun to get feedback. I appreciate all of it. Listen wherever you get your podcasts. You can follow us at BlitzballBoys_. We post some videos there, some fun buzz on the Dan Rourke Happy Gilmore video, so please check that out if you haven't. Anything you like on Instagram, just repost the shit out of it, because I'm trying to get followers in there too. You can also drink Subtle Tea. It's a drink made by me. I'm wearing the shirt right now, a funny little bottle shirt. This is what the bottles look like. You can find it at subtlety.com. $30 for a 12-pack. You can get $2 off with the code HobbyBoys, my other podcast, a beer podcast. Check that out wherever you get your pods. Same thing with the Swifty Boys, wherever you get your pods. Taylor Swift album review podcast. And check out the Sandy Boys. That's on patreon.com/boysmedia. That's our VOC post-show coverage. So check that out, please. Thank you. Peter, is there anything else you want to talk about? No. Bye-bye. Peace.